it says preparing to live stream the meeting. It will have told you that it is now live streaming, but it is in fact not. That is a lie.
But
it's a lie.
It's preparing that.
It'll be live in about 20 seconds.
That's in which case I'll speak to the chat a little bit more. Let me know. Meow meow meow.
That's how the meeting is just going to start. The live stream happens. You're just Tom going meow meow meow.
Oh. Are we live?
We are live, and it has gone live with me saying we're about to start live streaming the meeting, and Tom's going to be going meow meow meow.
Fantastic. Right, let's
Anyway.
get this. Yeah, let's share this everywhere.
Okay, Jonny, you're pinned if you would like to.
If I would like to, yes,
Post.
I would very much like to. Oh, what's going on? Why? I'm trying to pester everyone to come view it first.
So I'll fill the noise with kind of like meow meow meow.
Thank you, Tom.
Malcolm feels depleted. Oh, can't do it. More chipmunk.
Right, that'll do. Cool. Is there any way we can actually see how many? Oh, we've got 3 watching now. Are there 3 of us who have got this open? Or is there...
Probably. I'm not going to lie to you.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I'm just looking at myself. And oh god, I've done my eyeliner thick. I have not noticed how.
Jeez.
That's the best way to do it. All right.
It is.
That's what live comedy is really missing—a mirror right in front of you at all times.
Oh god. Yeah.
I suppose if we change the kind of arrangement of Gullivers, we could do that. We have got the massive mirror across to the side.
Just like a Pepper's Ghost sort of thing. Just have...
Mark Grimshaw has just messaged me saying, "What time is it starting tonight?" So
now.
That's fine. Yeah.
Right now, baby.
Put that in. I'm just pasting the link. I'm not even saying now. I'm gonna let him. Oh, hello. We have people. We have Samantha. Hello. I love you. And then we have Lee. And wow. Okay. I don't know what these comments are. Can I put that through? Can I put that through Translate? Or is that going to come out really bad?
That is my friend Lee, who lived in China for some years. So that will be why that's happening.
Fair enough.
He's doing that on purpose, full well knowing none of us can read that.
Let's see what it means according to Google.
All right, I'm betting he's saying that we seem like really cool people, and this is something cool people do.
According to Google Translate, it means friend, so you're not too far off. And we have Worry. Hello, thank you for joining. Someone who I don't think I know. That's exciting. Either that or it's just a username of someone who I do know, and I've just.
I know them. Soz. That is someone one of us knows.
You don't need to apologise for people I don't know coming to watch this.
Just start saying everybody's name if you don't recognise it, and one of them will be just like, oh yeah.
Right, yeah. So we're gonna wait for a few more people to come before we properly start. So first of all, thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who've already donated to Master Tree, yep, that's wonderful. If you could keep doing that, that would be wonderful. Because I mean, well, at the minute, the government and the local council have housed upwards of 500 homeless people. But the thing is, as soon as they're no longer considered a threat to rich people's public health, they're going to be put straight back on the streets. So charities like Mustard Tree and Coffee for Craig and all the other fantastic ones are doing fantastic work. So yeah, if you could support them, that would be great, and it would also make this nonsense that we're doing tonight seem worthwhile. You could also, you could just donate to Mustard Tree and then stop watching this. You're not going to be missing much. That's the end point of it. Hello, Ava.
To do that.
Hello, Ava.
I'm starting to see the Blizzard doesn't know that much. Hey, Ava.
And we've got and Joe Rogers as well, and Kaylee. Oh, fantastic! That's a number of people. 15. Fantastic. That's a lot of people.
Wow.
That is 11 more than I was expecting, given that there's 6 of us. No, I did the maths wrong. Fuck.
It's important to have optimism in these trying times, isn't it, Johnny?
I assumed at least 2 of us wouldn't want to be watching us. Hi, Jasmine. I love you.
I love you too, Jasmine.
I also have no idea how loud my voice is through this microphone. Should I be talking quieter?
It sounds all right through
my
ears.
Fine.
That's good.
I think you should whisper.
Hello,
whisper.
Carrie.
Seduce the mic. Seduce it. Whisper.
Seduce
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I feel
What?
like it's worth pointing out we are running at a 20-second delay. So if you comment on YouTube and we don't reply straight away, it's because we haven't seen it for 20 seconds. And if it takes more than 20 seconds, it's because we're not paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a Quenby with us as well. Hello.
Hey, Quenby.
What up?
Oh, that's people come.
That's not me. I'm sorry.
Was there anyone else I said I was gonna?
Thank you,
send
Joe. I
this
do
to?
sound great. Thank you for affirming that. Oh. Oh, we've got 20 watching now. Exciting. That is
the voyeurs of the comedy.
That is almost double. No, that's over double the number of submissions we got. So that's exciting.
Jasmine would like everyone to know that she's wearing her Daniel Bryan shirt, thinking that we might have been able to see her. But we can't see her. But she would just like us to know that. Mate, Stephen is like hanging by a thread anyway.
Oh, Q&A with the author. I mean, so why did you decide?
Hello, Neil Taylor.
Hey, Neil.
Hey, Neil.
Big
I
sexy.
didn't realize Andrew was way out on a bed.
I had to move. I had to move for a better signal.
Oh, fuck off, Scarlett. I haven't even seen you join.
Don't tell Scarlett to fuck off.
Tell Scarlett to do whatever I damn please.
No. Be nice.
You're not... Jonny, it was your idea
to
make this, because you told our audience to fuck off is why.
That will do it. People are very susceptible.
Hello, Mark Grimshaw. Thank you for coming.
You tell people to fuck off and they will.
That's fine. We're back to 21. Problem solved.
Is this what the live stream is now? We're not going to read these stories. We're just going to count the amount of people watching us.
That's number
See how long we can do that until people realise they've got better things to do.
They don't. That's the thing. They don't. So they'll just count and be like, it's content.
It's like that time a few years ago when the Fine Bros tried to copyright the word react, and then there was this YouTube page where you could just watch their subscriber count decrease in real time. Best moment on YouTube, and that was God knows how many years ago now. No one can top that content. Right, I'll give it like another 5 minutes before we start properly. I think we've got quite a few people here already, but we'll just see if there's anyone else coming.
I like how it's like an actual gig, just like we're just gonna wait.
Yeah, yeah. This is going back to Gulliver's when just sort of keep pushing it back because no one's shown up yet. So
can I just say I love you all, but I wouldn't watch this.
That's charming.
The entertainment. Try harder, man.
I'll do a song.
I've just got a text from someone which has just said, I'm just here to distract you now, but I don't have the number in my phone, so if that's in relation to this, can you just text me and tell you who you are, please?
And
if you're a close friend who should be in my phone, I'm really sorry.
Oh, we've gone down to 19. Thom, you've offended so many people.
No.
Are Tom's parents joining us? That is a good question.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, are your parents joining us?
You did say your parents were going to join.
Maybe that's your parents. Maybe who texted you.
There's talk of it, but I don't know. I've not told them when it is, so.
Yeah,
I've shared like links to information about this on my Facebook a few times, and both my mum and Nan have liked it, and I'm like, no, this post is not for you. Anyone else, just not you.
Yeah, I did notice actually that the University of Salford has promoted this. I don't know how
they
much.
Have.
Yeah, I don't know how much they've known.
I'm going to be honest. I really hope Mustard Tree still want us to work with them after this, because they might not.
No, that'd be valid.
I love the idea
Hello,
of Salford.
Isabella.
Hey, I love the idea of Salford Uni
Thanks
just
for
being
coming.
like, what are the alumni up to? And then it's just like,
Yeah,
And
this
then
is
they think,
stories about raw dogging.
our current students are getting an experience-rich education, and I'm just here like, I don't even do the comedy course.
It's just as well. There's not really much point to it.
Oh,
Oh,
This
okay.
is where you end up. I'm just
Ooh.
insulting myself in that comment. Why are you?
You really
Why are you
are.
sounding offended?
I
I'm the
just
only
feel
one
like-
here who did that course.
They're really nice to us, and like you just shout all over their comedy course.
yeah.
Like you did.
That is a good point. They are very nice. I meant to be self-deprecating, and I just realised I may have sabotaged my state of employment.
And like,
Exactly. As I was thinking, I was like, Jonny, we're literally across from each other in the office. You're like, oh, no.
All right, give it another couple minutes, then we'll get started properly.
I think the text might have been from Mark Grimshaw, and if it was, I'm sorry, Mark Grimshaw. I don't know why you're not in my phone.
I do remember him saying he was going to text you to distract you,
Yeah.
specifically. So that makes sense.
Soz Mark.
I really hope
Love
your
you,
parents
Mark.
come, Tom. It'd make me so happy.
I think the last minute I want
You haven't
to
met his
comment on
parents.
this.
I think
How
that's
would
why
my-
I'm pleased about it, to be honest.
How would my parents react, Andrew? You've met them.
They'd look at you like you had 3 heads, and they were quite confused as to why you didn't have 4.
Is anyone else got any relatives possibly joining?
I hope not.
I mean, hope not. Yeah.
I just realized as well. I was saying this earlier. I feel like I have my hair has come very underdressed today compared to everyone else in the stream.
Hmm.
Looks good. I think it looks good.
Thank you. I also think it looks good, but everyone else has got such bright summery hair, and then there's just me, the usual goth.
What,
Mind
have
you,
I got
I
bright
do have
summery
have
hair?
all the Blizzard flyers behind me that I have collected. So
Just to
that adds a bit of
compensate.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Annoyingly, I don't have all of them signed because I kept forgetting to get a signed one for myself. So
Aw. To be fair, some of our signed ones are like great. Like I did a clear out of my phone because it's yelling at me that it doesn't have enough space. I don't know why. And I found a bunch of photos of Blizzard flyers, and it's just like stay in school. Like there are some really funny ones I want to take pictures of. And
yeah, Mabel did some fantastic doodles on hers.
Jasmine has asked if I tried to match hair with Tom, which I didn't, and I've just noticed how similar we look.
Oh, wow. You've gone too far. You've gone too far.
To be fair, my pink was supposed to be purple, but I didn't leave it in for long enough. And also I wasn't planning on bleaching all of it to begin with, but I had some leftover bleach, and also I was bored.
Fair enough.
On that note, shall we get started?
Yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell everyone what we're doing?
We have 24 people watching. I'm pretty sure we had more than that at one point, so I'm going to start before more people leave.
Please don't leave us.
So yes, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this special occasion, Blizzard Comedy's first birthday. Blizzard Comedy is officially 1 year old, which means we're only 11 years off being able to legally purchase a copy of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 on DVD without additional adult supervision, or indeed Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. They're both rated 12. And with 14 years off being able to purchase a copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 without additional adult supervision, which is apparently more hardcore than Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So suck on that, J.K. Rowling. And 17 years off being able to legally attend one of our own shows. So thank you. The thing I like about this joke is I can do it for a decade before it becomes out of date. I just have to keep adjusting the math. Thank you all for coming. As you probably know, tonight we are raising money for Mustard Tree, who are an excellent charity. Do we have like the donation link somewhere?
I have pinned it in the comment section.
Fantastic.
So it is there. It's also on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page, on the Facebook event. Like anywhere that Blizzard Comedy is, our link will be there. So if you haven't seen it already, you haven't been paying attention, it's your fault.
Cool. Yep. So you have no excuse for not donating, unless you don't have money. That is a legitimate excuse. But yeah. So yeah, if you are able to financially support the Must Tree, a wonderful charity, those of you who came to the last Blizzard live show, no, they came and did a chat for us and stayed to the end, which is an impressive commitment to their cause. They sat through an entire show with us in the hope that it will get them more notoriety, and hopefully it's worked. So yeah, if you are able to donate to that, or if you're not, if you could just sort of share the donation link around so that people who are more who are luckier financially are able to do it. As I was saying before, currently the country's doing all right with housing homeless people. Like they could have done that before there was a nationwide pandemic, but as I say, if as soon as it gets to a point where homeless people being on the street is no longer a threat to the public health of rich people, they're going to be back on the street faster than you can say capitalism is fundamentally broken. So if you're able to support them, please do. And yes, welcome all to this show. This is a bit different from our usual shows, as you've probably been able to tell, as it's far less polished. This isn't just a comedy show. This is far more than that. We are featuring special guests Thom and Andrew Marsh from No Money in the Bank. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Oh, Andrew, I remembered that thing I was going to ask you that I forgot what it was. It was, do you want to be known as Andrew Marsh or Balthazar Dark in this live stream? But it's pointless now because I've already told everyone your name. So yeah, hopefully that's fine.
That's absolutely fine.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to have to be like, hey, I don't want to do all that shit tonight. So. Just fundamental, we get to know each other, we like each other, we stir the pot, we count the change, we take our socks off.
Why is your impression of Balthazar Dark a character that you do, Nicolas Cage trying to get into character?
I prefer John Travolta, Thom. Anyway,
this is everyone's favorite wrestling and pop punk themed comedy duo, No Money in the Bank. Everyone, this is all unscripted.
I can never tell.
Yeah. So in addition to this being a fundraiser, so in addition to asking our devoted audience to donate money to this, we have also not written any content for it and instead relied on the audience to provide that as well. So this is for those of you, like, I'm assuming you're all aware of the competition that's going on. So we how long ago was it? Was it Christmas we put out the competition? Yeah, a few months ago, anyway. Like in the before times, we put out a competition for people to write their own No Money in the Bank fan fiction, and so we've had many Blizzard comedy regulars submitting stuff. We've also had many No Money in the Bank fans submitting stuff, and we've also weirdly had people who I don't think have ever seen Blizzard comedy or No Money in the Bank submitting stuff, and I can't fucking imagine why.
We wanted that free badge.
That one was weird though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some fucking weird ones. So yeah, there's not really any prize for this other than you get your thing read out. So no idea why you did that, but thanks all the same, because it pads out time a little bit more.
You get the pride of knowing that us 6 head cases really liked your story. That's it.
Yeah, so I should probably introduce people as well, shouldn't I? So yeah, we have obviously I'm Jonny, you all know me. I'm not doing that same joke again, you can fuck off.
Stop telling them to fuck off.
You all know it, fill in the blanks. We also have the co-founder of Blizzard Comedy, Kirstie Summers.
Hey gang, how's it going?
Yep. She is very much the brains behind this particular competition, and indeed the glue that holds this bastard of a project together. So thank you so much for coming.
I don't think any brains went into it. I'm pretty sure Thom and I came up with this idea at approximately midnight, talking about how we can't wait for him to get famous enough to have an online community of shippers. So
So we are making history here. This is the first step to that reality coming true. You're going to be bigger than Sonic the Hedgehog.
It makes me sound like such a narcissist.
No, to be fair, it was I nudged it a lot.
Just got a message at 11:30 at night, just like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we could get strangers to describe what it's like for when you bum people? And we're just like, it would be. That would be fun.
I'm pretty sure we were talking for like an hour before I went, you know what, we could just do this. Let me ask Jonny if they're okay with it. And
I was like, yeah, whatever, fine.
Jonny just enables me to do whatever shit I want.
You're very welcome.
Thank
we
you,
we also have two guest judges. We have the magnificent Bobbie Jones.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. You may have, who is an absolutely fantastic person, co-runner of Lolshevism. I nearly said founder, but in the chat we had last time, discovered that wasn't true.
Well, I organised it. I didn't find it.
No, you didn't find it.
It was already there.
To organise it. Yeah, who is essentially our lovely gay sister gig in Leeds. So do check them out. That was such a hard word to get out for some reason. I don't know why. And we also have the magnificent Ben Hodge as well.
Hello,
Ben. Yeah, also did a live show, and also today we did upload a lovely little chat we had as part of our Blizzard Comedy Archive series that is now online in full on Podbean. Although don't listen to that now because we're live. But if you want to hear more of Ben after this, which you absolutely will, he's an absolute snack. But feel free and go and listen to that. So. Kirstie, do you want to explain a bit more about what's actually happening here and the way this is going to work?
What are the rules?
Yeah.
So basically, we asked our followers, our Blizzard family, and the No Money in the Bank fans,
it's not many of them,
submit fan fiction stories featuring Thom and Andrew. And that was the only criteria. The stories could be about whatever you want. You could put them in any setting and make them do whatever you want them to do, whatever you imagine they get up to when you're picturing their life.
It's a lot of smoke. It's a lot of smoking and arguing, to be honest. These are very accurate stories.
And well, there's been a lot of creativity. We've got quite a few stories. We're going to be reading them out one after the other, due to the fact that it is not yet 8 p.m. We are reading them in order from the least disgusting to the most disgusting. We are going to read them one at a time. We're each going to take one or two stories to read. Some of them came with pictures, so hopefully there'll be something more than just our faces, and we're all going to score them. So each of the judges is going to give it a score out of 10, and we're going to talk about what we liked about your stories, and then at the end Jonny's going to announce the winner. And originally the prize was going to be that you get your story read out on the stage, but now I don't know what the prize is going to be because
there's no stages now in the after times.
Yeah,
so.
we'll figure something out. We'll do something nice for you, I promise.
How about we still do that whenever we can do it? Whenever the point is that we can do it, we will do it.
I would like that. I would like a full reenactment of the winning story, complete with whatever DIY props we can throw together.
Yeah.
But how possible that is will really depend on which story wins.
I'll do that.
Okay.
This seems like a good time to mention, if you're not already a patron subscriber, you're able to do that from as little as $2 a month, and the more money you give us, the better props we're going to come up with. So
don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, YouTube.
Quenby, I've just noticed your message come through.
I don't know how YouTube works.
Quenby has just said that they're curious about where their story comes in the lineup, and somewhere in the middle, Quenby. So that's kind of a gauge of how the rest of the stories came through.
Yeah, at this point we should mention, as I said before, this was strictly the only the only rule for this fan fiction was that it had to be about no money in the bank. We didn't ask you to make them fuck, but
but you did.
Yeah, it's fair to say that just as a kind of general content warning for this entire stream, there is going to be quite a lot of graphic sexual content. For the individual stories, we have done some individual content warnings for them as well, but it's fair to say that, all of them, you can kind of assume there's going to be some kind of sexual content in that.
Also, probably mild violence, because they do wrestling in a lot of them, which is on brand, But there was another thing that I've forgotten what I was going to say, but carry on.
Mark Grimshaw is heckling me via text. It's getting very distracting.
Put your phone in the other room and tell them to heckle you via the YouTube comment section.
I can't. I'm doing this. I'm doing this from my phone, so it literally comes up above me. He just called me a boomer. It's very
literally not.
Tell him you'll wrestle him to completion.
I'll wrestle you to completion, Mark Grimshaw.
Oh no, that's gross.
Oh no, mate, that's tame. You've read these.
I just say if you wanted to heckle Thom and Andrew, you had your chance to submit a story to do just that. So if you haven't, then just don't. I was gonna say something witty, but I didn't think of it. So this is the magic of comedy.
Welcome to my world.
Mark Grimshaw has indeed done a heckle in the comment section, but I wish he'd warned all of that before I gathered the whole family round for this. Tough.
Hey, look, Mark, my mum and Nan have liked my posts about this, so they may well tune in. And as far as I can tell, they haven't yet, so they will probably join at the worst possible moment. So I'm just glad my dad's not on any social media, so he's like my one relative who just doesn't know anything about this.
It's not what I told him, but you know, lads.
So luckily I don't think my parents are well versed enough with the internet to be able to find this even if they wanted to, so that's my small area of solace. Right, shall we get this started?
My dad's Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, so he definitely doesn't know.
Is he?
Strange man.
I met your dad. No, Gromit doesn't talk. He wore the wrong trousers yesterday. It was terrible.
Anyway.
On that note, shall we get started? Right. The first story reading today, as Kirstie mentioned, these are ranked from least to most disgusting. So the first story was I've somehow ruined something in the spreadsheet. Oh, there we are. It's fixed. The first story is submitted by Clare. Thank you very much, Clare. It is called "This is the origin story of no (in brackets) money in the bank." And we've got Thom and Andrew reading this one. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right, Andrew, we're doing this in like a paragraph each.
Yeah, is it the one? Is it the one titled "No Money in the Wank Bank"?
No, it's not that.
No. Hold on.
Can you tell we were prepared?
This is the origin story of no money in the bank.
I think the file name is CM. I'll start while Andrew looks. Lord Thomas. Come on, man.
Okay. Go. Yeah, I've got it. Go.
Lord Thomas sat at the dinner table the way a disinterested child would sit at a first enforced piano lesson. Accurate. I am a lord. Small body frame with sad shoulder stuff, and head dropped slightly to one side. He eyed the mashed potatoes on his plate with a look more of disappointment and disgust. Lord Dart had left the stins on again. Despite several requests for him not to, the lord in question sat opposite him, the same height as himself, but far bulkier and rotund. He was gorging on food at random, taking large gulps of wine between and sometimes during mouthfuls. A drop of almost purple wine had begun to run through Lord Dart's stubbly excuse for a beard, and Lord Thomas decided he was no longer hungry. Andrew, that's you.
Eat! I've paid a hefty price for all of this, said Lord Dark as he lazily weaved the knife into the intricate platters of food all around the table. Yet did not take greedy eyes off his plate.
I think it's becoming really obvious that neither me nor Andrew can read. I don't feel well. I think I'm coming down with a headache.
Kenzie, and I like it. Keep going.
Like Lord Thomas. And he pushed the plate away towards the larger lord. This is going for you, man. The table was narrow but long, allowing them to be close to each other, but also dine on many different foods at once. I think I'll just take some chicken and turn in for the night. He reached over towards the pile of roast chicken legs to grab a couple in case his appetite returned, but Lord Dart's left hand darted out to grab him around the wrist. The fork abandoned on the plate. I think I'm about to grab your cock. Right.
Funny, Lord Dark said. Finally looking upward into Lord Thomas's face with a smarmy, grubby grin. I always had you down as a breast man.
That's very inaccurate.
Wine-stained teeth began to gnaw on his bristly bottom lip.
That bit's pretty on, though.
And a calloused thumb rubbed over Lord Thomas's wrist.
Ugh.
There was creepy sparkle in Lord Dark's eyes. A recent addition to his already out-of-control character. Food always makes me hungry for something else.
Dick. Balthazar.
I loved the fact that you made eye contact with the camera as you said that.
Like the narrator in Arrested Development. It was Dick. Balthazar, dear, you carry on your banquet. I am sure you will find something else to satisfy your needs in the basement. That's my bum. The sparkle faded from Lord Dart's eyes as quickly as it appeared, and he begrudgingly let go of his sweetheart's wrist. His head lowered, and attention returned to the feast before him. Lord Thomas quietly lifted his chair slightly to avoid it scraping on the dining room floor, turned his back to Lord Dark, and made it a few steps towards the doorway.
It's me.
Yeah. If a paragraph
It's
ends...
not like it's our anniversary or anything.
Oh, we're together. Okay.
The words came out softly and barely understandable between the chewing. But it was not enough. It was enough, in fact. It was enough. Sometimes it's not enough, sometimes it is enough. This time it is enough.
This is
Lord
why we
Thomas
don't write anything.
froze for half second on the edge of the doorway. He had forgotten. Only the first time in 12 years, but he had forgotten nevertheless. And that simply wouldn't do. He pressed on into the hallway of their shared summer house and up the stairs to their bedroom.
How can I possibly make this up to him now, he thought as he dressed for bed. I can't change my mind at a whim like that. I'll have to consult our patron. Yes, that's what I'll do. This is getting super D&D. We got a fucking patron.
Carefully, he opened the wardrobe with a rattling drawer that Lord Dark always insisted he would fix and never had, and found the necessary robes for the summoning ritual. Their wonderful patron had granted them many boons over the years.
Do you not know what a boon is?
No.
It's like a good bonus.
Okay. No reason to suspect this would be any different. A small side table was set under the window, and Lord Thomas, what is going on with this? Does anyone have any idea like what the narrative is? Like just roughly.
You should read it and find out.
Just like a brief kind of 1, 2, 3 of what's going on. A small side table was set under the window, and Lord Thomas crept towards it, avoiding the squeaky floorboard that again would definitely get fixed someday. He lit the candles and placed the four corners. Placed them in the fork. Wait, fuck. He lit the candle. He lit the candles.
The four candles.
Placed in the four corners and held his palms aloft to the ceiling. A light condensation formed on the window, and a familiar face appeared on the other side.
State the nature of your requests.
The words formed clear in Lord Thomas's mind. The lips on the face in the window didn't move. O wonderful patron who had granted many gifts, I come to you alone for this request.
Alone? I don't know what this voice is. This is not the way. Both are needed. Unless you would like me to request a visit from your individual patron.
If that is possible, then yes.
One moment, please. The multiverse. Wow, this is wild. The multiverse has you on hold and will be with you shortly.
The face faded away. Thank you.
A looping tune of notes played in Lord Thomas's head for a while. He lowered his hands to his sides. Lord Dark and Lord Thomas had been granted access to their campaigned patrons from the multiverse. Upon their union from the Governing Institute of descriptive instructions to not abuse the power. That's a TNC, isn't it? A simple fire ceremony was all it took to conjure the very best beings that twisted, then wove the fabric of the infinitesimal universes. Oh, why did I get the hard one to read? It was assumed these beings were benevolent, don't know what that means, and not to be pestered with petty requests. Their
benevolent means nice.
Oh, awesome. That's cool, isn't it?
This feels like such a popcorn read in year 8. You know, when like they just pass the paragraph around and be like, I know what this word means, teacher. And be like,
I love how Thom and Andrew have managed to fail at taking it in turns to read paragraphs.
Literally like a year 7 popcorn read.
Carry on.
Their first request had been to live far away, without such an issue looming over them, and it had been granted, along with many petty and trivial requests since. Andrew.
Where am I up to? Oh, yeah, sorry. This universe had discovered what lay beyond death. Rebirth in a different universe. And it was possible to influence what kind of life a person would live next. Something with more adventure. Something with more peaceful. Was more peaceful. Being reunited with a loved one. And so on. They may live a completely different life. Or one with very minor details changed. They were entirely free to choose. However, it was also discovered that this crossing of universe was neither untold pain, untold comfort, ultimate comfort, or something in between.
State the nature of your requests. The words were lighter and gentler. They were not. It was the same voice. The face even smiled a little bit. Lord Thomas was curious.
If I may, Lord Thomas.
Yeah.
You sound a little bit more friendly than the patron I shared with Balthazar.
His influence is impulsive passion and intensity. That is true. And those are those not what you desired in him in the first place? Is this not what you... Oh, wait, hold on. Is this what you no longer desire to be a part of him? Am I a part of you in this, Andrew?
Is it that obvious that this is getting out of hand?
There's 2 more pages. Indeed. I must warn you. You were both barring away small parts of your soul for several years. His far much more than yours. We have rearranged this existence of his so many times. His patron is becoming exhausted.
Wait. He's been consulting his own patron without checking in with ours? Is that where all that food and wine came from?
Oh, this bit's in Balthazar. Balthazar, go.
And another thing!
Oh, it's a bit dusty roads. Nice.
When I asked for a sub, I wasn't thinking of a sandwich.
Please, just stop. Please. Oh, no, you've got me. I can't do the voice. You've got me doing it.
Shut up. I'm talking, you meant to listen.
Oh, just back up. I'm talking, you meant to listen.
You said that.
I know. I mean, did you ignore the R on the end of your?
No, I said, come on, can we just get through this one, please?
How did this happen? How did a universe with the best scientific minds and most proficient magic users gain access to the controls of the multiverse and turned out this arse badger of an idiot? You're an arse badger.
What?
Professor Dark was still sat at the dinner table, having completely finished his food, but barely making a dent in the many, many cases of wine he had recently sold the very last of his soul form. You would do that, in fairness. This home, this universe, confused and alienated him, having sold so much of his soul already in the very minute of tiny ways. He had gone beyond the threshold of human endurance. Thomas, his dearest, was becoming more and more distant from him, was selling a fraction of his soul to grant the knighthoods a little too much. He scoffed aloud at the very idea. The breath breezed lightly on one of the 4 candles he had lit around the table. The face of his patron winced in an ornate hand mirror as he did this, expecting the flame to extinguish, but it remained bright.
Ooh,
Very nice. Did it? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I thought so. Cheers.
People have been praying, for lack of a better term, for eons. Eventually, the patrons decide to intervene as a way of keeping everyone in line with their thoughts and prayers. For the tiny cost of a fraction of a person's soul, the power that crossed into the other universe, they could become landed gentry. Or for a smaller piece still, the fates could be twisted and make a cart filled with wine and food and have a freak accident right by the door of your summer home, killing the driver in an instant. And wouldn't you know it, the driver didn't have any record of what the food was doing. That's
where the food was going.
There we go.
So on a soul like this made it more likely that the patron would make the journey pain-free, but the cost was that the destination universe would be influenced by the patron. Total soul selling gave control over your next life completely to the patron, and all but guaranteed a pain-free and speedy journey. Bend the universe to your whim in this life, have a safe trip to your next one, but not be able to control your life after that. It was no choice at all for Balthazar. You have nothing left, Andrew. I'm doing a ghost voice. I mean, Lord Dark. That hurts my throat. I can't help you. There is only one who can help you, and he must do it all at once. It will take every last scrap of soul he has left. You had better hope he still thinks of you so highly. Oh, bollocks, says Balthazar Dark.
Last page now.
Yeah, please. It is. Please, Lord Thomas. I'll do anything to make him back the way he was. Take it all back: the land, the house, the genital enhancements. Nice. I don't want it all. I want my best friend back. Andrew, this is all you.
You have just enough left to do this. Are you quite certain?
Please.
Balthazar has abused the powers in tiny, fractious ways. This universe is almost his bursting point with his petty requests. Every time he asked, we gave. And every time he kept it hidden from you. Are you sure you trust him?
Put it all the way it was. But with one difference, it denies our request for a patron upon our union. If we do not have access, we can never get into this mess in the first place. And this is all in bold. This is the part of Scrubs where the acoustic guitar plays.
I couldn't believe it when Turk fucked Carla. It was the most amazing union I'd ever seen. Then know this. You are now forfeit of any and say in what life you must lead. Though you will reach the new life completely safely, he is also forfeit of the knowledge I'm about to tell you concerning that life. Because of his abuse of the power we granted. Thomas and Andrew will meet each other and they will form a lasting and loving bond. It will endure hardship and encounter both emotional and physical pain. But it will not yield, my son. It will not yield.
Though distance may separate them, they will keep good company with great friends, dreaming of the day they will be reunited. Fame may or may not find them. It won't. But love surely will. It will be with them through those hardships and those times of pain. However, Balthazar will also be present in some way. Wait, is this story like a threesome of Yumi and Balthazar? Because I am down. However, Balthazar will also be present in some way. We'll do our very best to be sure that he is contained and only appears under very specific circumstances, possibly involving stage entertainment of some kind. But nevertheless, as you have sacrificed the remains of your soul to set this right, you will indeed get your beloved Andrew back. Andrew, last paragraph. Take it home.
The world will be quite different from the one you... Excuse me, Thomas. The world will be quite different from the one you walk upon. It'll be unpredictable, and there will be no access to the patrons of any kind. Try as you might. There's also a chance you will forget this life entirely. Such is the damage this frivolity has caused. Now, as soon as I fade, you'll return back to when you first met in this life, this universe. You'll retain all the knowledge I have given you just now, but will be unable to tell Andrew. His patron and myself will walk you safely to your next life, but he will have no idea what awaits him. Go back, Thomas! Back to when you were both young and eager, and with absolutely no money in the bank.
That's our name.
That's the end of that.
They said it. They said the title.
So
That
how
was
do
a
we feel
trip.
about that then, people?
Yeah, right.
That was a journey.
Okay, first of all, should we review some of the comments we got during that? Because I was vaguely looking at them and there were some quite fun ones.
I really enjoyed that Mark is just bragging about how much he's distracting Thom in the comment section.
he really is.
and also on Twitter, and he has tagged me in his tweet about how he's distracting Thom.
He's doing a very, very good job.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Quenby at one point commented saying, "Can I just say this is the most professional I've ever seen? No money in the bank." Because of fair comment.
Wow!
Quenby did 4 of our shows.
Scarlett said, "Oh my God, can Andrew read all of them?" I mean, we're going to be going well into Wednesday if we do that. But
Ollie says 10 out of 10 would listen again. That's good. That's a very good score. 10 out of 10 on our first story.
Yeah.
I mean, from
That is
one
really
person. The actual judges have not yet given scores.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do the judge scores now. So first of all, yeah, I really liked it. I will say that I was reading along with Thom and Andrew's reading of it, and I still didn't follow what was going on. But I don't think that's the fault of the writer, not gonna lie. And so yeah, I did really like a lot of the use of language. I particularly enjoyed the when I wanted to sub, I wasn't thinking of a sandwich line. That was excellent. So I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. Is that on the webcam? I can't see. There we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will also give it a 7 out of 10.
Cool. 7 from Andrew. Thom, how about you?
I will also give it. I've got deliberately cute scorecards to try and offset some of what's going on. So I would give it 7 puppies.
Another 7.
Aww.
Kirstie, what do you think of that one?
So I did follow what was going on, which probably helped that I read it beforehand. I really liked it. I thought it was a very cute and fantastical origin story. And I mean, this is I'm gonna give it an 8.
An 8? 8 from Kirstie.
Oh my God.
I forgot that you had those.
This is like the least graphic 8 in my deck. So what's the 8 we're going with?
I thought you were just gonna say the least graphic 8 at all. Like, ooh, look at them clubs and them spades.
Okay, Bobbie, what are your thoughts of that story?
I agree, a 7, because the content was very good, but it was a little bit difficult to follow at times. So with a nice, good edit, it would be made up to a 9.5, I think.
Ooh, nice one. Okay, and finally, Ben.
Oh, I'm just gonna go with the flow, and I'm gonna go with a 7.
7.
Similar to what Bobbie has said.
Fantastic. So that with all 6 judges, that is a total of 43 out of 60. Well done, Claire.
That's a good score. That's a strong start to the night.
Yeah,
that's at least a B.
Yeah,
it is at least a B.
In your GCSEs and smut.
They don't grade them in letters anymore. They use a number system. It would be a 5.
Yeah.
If
a
I
GCSE
may,
in smut is English literature. Like, I'm just putting that out
there.
If I may do some shameless YouTube engagement begging, if you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments.
Oh no. Don't pick on the judges. Don't pick on the judges.
No, tell us which one of us you think is the biggest cunt.
Or if you have no opinions on any of this, just tell us what you've done today.
Just tell us what you've been up to, or just gibberish. Let your cat walk across the keyboard and then hit send. It's all points. The algorithm can't tell.
Right. Shall we move on to the next story?
Yeah.
So this one was not given an alias to submit. So let's just say it was from Tommy Wiseau, and this is called No Money in the Wank Bank. Wank is in brackets there, which is I think is very clever.
It's clever. I like that.
It is very clever. Just a quick glance. This one's much shorter than the last one, so I'm grateful for that. And
most of them are.
I'm going to be your narrator for this one.
Imagine if we read that 10-page one we got.
We're not reading that one.
Shall we all just read the Bible one after each other and see what happens?
One paragraph at a time. Oh god. Right, so this is No Money in the Wank Bank by TM. Swiping right is a dangerous business. Chasing a tight 5 minutes of fun comes with not insignificant risk. She was going to be at the show, and I'd been told the headline act was a riot. I had been a little worried that wrestling as an interest would put most off. Pegging me as an insecure man-child not worth a decent fuck or even a disinterested hand job.
This is number 2.
This is number 2.
This is number 2.
They only get worse from here. Turns out her suggestion of getting me backstage was not to meet the acts, which was disappointing, as I'd heard Thom and Andrew were the comedy equivalent of a tombstone pile driver.
I don't think that's a good thing.
Do you agree with that comment? Let us know. That's what she'd told me, and we'd bonded over the dead man. She'd asked if I was pretending to be a nerd just to get into her pants. I laughed and then began to realize it can't be difficult staying hard backstage when all you can hear is laughter from out front. That is not my experience, but maybe I'm in a minority there.
I think so.
You're not worrying about missing the acts, are you? I shook my head. Meet and greet came with certain conditions. When they finally came to say hi, I blurted it out without thinking. Hey man, Thom. And Andrew. The glare was a sight to behold. Did you enjoy the show? I'm really sorry. I was backstage getting my nuts licked. DQ, eh? Well, it's not often we see those. Did you count to 10 while she... Thom, for God's sake. Well, Andrew, it's not like they bothered to watch us. Would you rather they did it while they... Well, now you mention it. You bloody pervert. Oh, come on now. You know that's not what I meant. And that's the end. Certainly left on a cliffhanger there.
I like how it painted us as some sort of like vaudeville double act, just like, hey now, look, cheeky.
It's just the only voice I can do.
I like that.
Right.
That was like you know, the end of Godzilla where there's an egg about to break.
Oh, Godzilla 98.
Yeah, Godzilla 98. At the end, it focuses on an egg that's about to break, and it's like Godzilla 2 will happen. And then it never.
Just Godzilla 98 sucks.
And then it never happened. Anyway, how do we feel about that one, guy?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go first. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the graphics of that one. But yeah, given the after the huge creativity of the opening one, I think I'm going to give that a 6.
I will also give that one a 6. I was left wanting more, but did enjoy the imagery of laughter helping it hard on backstage.
Andrew, what about you?
I will go 7 again because of the Godzilla vibes.
Steve, do you agree with that?
Me, yeah, sorry, I was just getting my housemate to pick which of these cards I was going to show you because they're all the same number, but they're different pictures. And he has encouraged me to go with this one. I'm also giving it a 6.
Wow.
That's
because
sexy.
Like it was minimal, but it was effective. Points for wrestling references that I did not get. But yeah, comfortable 6.
Okay, Bobbie?
Yeah, I'm going to say a comfortable 6 as well, just because I did want more. And also I did find it a tad bit hard to follow at times as well.
Sorry,
I
Bobbie,
feel like that was one that was easier to read rather than to hear because it was a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from there, Bobbie.
Yeah, I was reading it at the same time and I still found it a little bit difficult to follow.
Bobbie, I massively zoned out then. What was your score?
It was a 6.
Cool. I thought so, but I wanted to double check because I realized I wasn't actually paying attention. Okay, and finally, Ben, I will listen to this one, I promise.
That's okay then. I'm gonna give this a 7 just because I found it a lot easier to follow for my small reading age, and I love a bit of nut licking. I suppose.
What is the recommended reading age for nut licking?
Oh, whatever's going on in this mind is probably correct. I don't know. Yes.
Right, so in total, that was 38 out of 60, another strong one, but still, we've got No Money in the Bank Origin Story is still in the lead. Yeah, just a quick review of the comments we got during that one. Where am I? I lost them. So we have the general vibe seemed to be less than enthusiastic about the sharp dip in smuttiness that we took, and this is only the second one out of 8. So
it gets worse. Or better, depending on what you're here for.
It does indeed get worse. Mark Grimshaw's phone is now playing up and resending text messages to Tom he's already received. So apologies in advance for that, Tom.
Also, congrats to Worry, who's got his graduation papers and felt the need to share that with us. Why not give him a shout out to him? He's fantastic. One of our submissions. So well done.
Fantastic. Did you also submit this work in your degree? And then Kerry's commented, if Tom's doing animal ratings, can his ultimate rating please be the cat that's just asleep in the background? I mean, 10 doesn't have a dog on it, as you showed us earlier, so yeah, we can just do that.
I have another thing to say. Since we started reading the stories, we've had some more donations through. Most of them are anonymous, but I'm going to do a shout out to Sam because she has submitted one not anonymously. So thank you to Sam and also all of our anonymous donors as well. We're now at 46% of our goal, and we've only done 2 out of like 8 stories. So just a little reminder, this is a fundraiser for Mustard Tree, the homeless charity. And if you want to donate, the link is in the comment section of the video.
We should get like one of those big thermometers you put outside a church, wear like Sunday dresses, and then like for every donation, just like, woo, yeah. Wholesome donations via filth.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
I'd love it if this was how we did donations, like for an actual church.
Only it's about the Lord.
And Jesus rode on the third day, just like Andrew's massive erection.
What was it? Exquisite cock?
Exquisite cock. That is coming up.
That is coming up.
Exquisite cock coming up. You heard
So
it here
looking
first.
forward to Andrew's exquisite cock featuring in this video.
Right.
That's what Paul Daniels calls his magic wand. You know that. the exquisite cock. Debbie McGee, like, you just keep going.
We've had a comment from Jasmine to say it's not like it was that difficult to figure out which donation was hers, and hers was kind of anonymous in that she didn't put her name, but Just Giving has told us that the donation came from Asian. And just that's all
For the
says.
record of everyone watching, she is Asian. That isn't just, yeah. I feel like that needs to be clarified. We're not just laughing at subtle racism. Right. Are we ready? Are we ready for more?
Yes.
I think so.
This next one was submitted by Quenby Harley. So you are number 3 out of 8, Quenby, to answer your question earlier. So yeah, I'm only slightly disappointed, but yeah, little. I've not actually read any of these, so I have no idea how bad it gets. So I am quite excited to see how this goes. So this one is called.
This is the second one we got, and I've read it like 10 times. It makes me laugh every time.
It is really funny.
Fantastic.
It is really funny.
So this one is called "No Money (Brackets Will Be Left in the Bank," and this is the last. This is the last one which involves a play on the title "No Money in the Bank." By that definition, these 3 are already better than the rest. Get your shit together. And we have the wonderful Bobbie Jones reading this one out. So Bobbie, whenever you're ready. Oh, trigger warning. Kirstie's just written "ACAB" as a trigger warning, so not entirely sure what that means. I don't know if that's a trigger warning for cops generally being bastards, but yeah. So yeah, just bear that in mind. So take it away when you're ready.
Okay. Thom leaned back in the chair and let his mind wander back to the discussion months ago, which had started this whole scheme. Then there's 3 little dots, which means it's gone back in time. Look, I'm just trying to paint a picture. Okay. Andrew threw down the paper in disgust. How is a comedy show based around an improvised pop punk talk show unoriginal? Thom jumped, jolted out of his regular daydream about running his fingers through Andrew's bushy beard. It's the Ed Fringe. There's a lot of competition. What I don't understand is why you print out online reviews. I like to throw them down. Don't deny my catharsis. Thom blushed as his treacherous mind wandered to what Andrew might look like when he was denied other things. Well, not being allowed to come might be adequate payback for all those jokes that Thom comes dust because of his antidepressants.
Just going right for it, aren't they?
He shook himself. They were comedy partners, nothing more. Andrew dressing as a leather daddy and gazing lovingly at him on stage every night was just an act. Andrew was still talking. Last year's run was expensive. We are living up to our name. I mean, it's very on brand, but I'd like there to be a little bit more money in the bank. Thom sighed. Thom sighed. Nobody makes money at the Fringe. Between event costs and rent, you'd have to rob a bank to turn a profit. Andrew chuckled. That's funny. Wait a minute. That is funny. Maybe that's our new show. What? A show riffing on the idea of a bank robbery? Feels a bit played out. Thom jumped to his feet and began pacing excitedly. No, not a show about a bank robbery, a show which actually is a bank robbery. I can see the reviews already. Immersive avant-garde theatre, a powerful commentary on capitalism and the chronic underfunding of the arts, not derivative of James Acaster.
That's literally what would be said at the Fringe as well.
Points for accuracy there, for sure.
Very
literally.
good. Andrew stared at him. My God. We could call it no money, brackets, will be left, close bracket, in the bank.
That's the name
as
of
he
the
began
story.
to discuss flyering strategy and vault cracking techniques. Thom tried to listen to his words. He really did. But as he always did, his eyes began to focus more on the shape of Andrew's lips than the words they produced. His mind wandered over his passionate eyes and rugged beard, then drifted inexorably downwards. The things he wanted to do to this man. Thom cursed himself, wishing he was bold enough to say they should get naked together. Huh? Andrew's voice cut through Thom's reverie, and he blushed a deep red, realizing that he'd accidentally said it out loud after all. For the show, we should get naked for the show. It would say something about vulnerability and power. Sweat beaded on Thom's forehead. That had been as unconvincing as his excuse to wrestle with Andrew that night 2 years ago. 20 agonizing seconds passed as Andrew mulled this over. Yeah, I can see that. And maybe we should kiss. I think there's something there about heteronormativity and the fetishization of specific forms of sexual expression. Thom almost filled his pants with dust then.
Are you okay, Bobbie?
No! Okay. This was going to be their best show yet, and filled with even more sexual tension than normal. I need a drink. I'm so sorry.
Can I just say, I feel like it's really appropriate. My housemate's watching a film in the same room as me, and a really graphic sex scene has just finished.
Oh,
Like
nice.
it was very loud as well. And I was half convinced you could all hear it, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay, so we've got another 3 dots. So we've gone to another part of the story now. After months of planning, it was finally time. Thom and Andrew burst through the door of the bank with nothing but balaclavas and handguns. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your hands in the air and then put them together. You are about to witness an Ed Fringe show unlike any other. This is no money will be left in the bank, and you are our hostages / audience. If you enjoy the show, please do tell your friends. Unless your friends are police officers, chimed in Andrew. Nervous laughter rose from the audience until it was cut off by Thom. We are not joking. Nobody calls the police. Thom glanced over at Andrew. Did you bring bags for the money? I forgot, Thom, replied Andrew, delivering his planned line with genuine remorse. Thom rolled his eyes dramatically. What is the point of balaclavas if you use my real name? Might as well just tell them my surname while you're at it. It's B-E-E, mate. And Thom is spelt with an H.
I don't want you.
Yeah. As they settled into the familiar banter, Thom started to relax as he forced the manager to open safe after safe. This is what he loved, their chemistry as performers. His eyes definitely weren't caressing Andrew as he downed a full glass of red wine in 4 seconds as part of the show. He watched a ruby of wine drip from Andrew's plump lips and fall down towards his exquisite cock. There was the time. He strode across the room, trembling. He leaned in for the anxiously awaited kiss. Their lips met, and it was everything he dreamed of and more. Bodies melted together as tender lips caressed and yielded to one another. Thom's tongue, oh so naturally, slipped into Andrew's mouth, and he tasted so good. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I'm really getting into this. Of the rich red wine and sweet treat musk, and of a desperate lust too long denied, and also sulphur.
Yeah, can't forget that.
Sulphur, okay.
Gotta have the sulphur.
They pulled apart in confusion, and the tang of ozone filled the air as lightning acrid from the point where their lips had met. A roiling ball of black smoke rapidly expanded and streamed out into the shape of an 8-foot horned man.
What?
This has gone from 0 to 100 very quickly. It evaporated.
I don't think it was ever a 0, let's be fair.
Yeah, it was a 45 and then it's shot up, yeah. It evaporated away, leaving behind the crimson-skinned demon who had incorporated that into space. He looked around in malicious glee, then spoke in a voice steeped in a millennia of cruelty and ancient hatred. Freedom! Together your mouths coincidentally formed the perfect summoning circle. Combined with the sacrifice of the repressed sexual tension between you, it was enough to open an 8-dimensional crack I could squeeze through. And 3 dot ellipses were onto a different part of the story. Thom slapped the side of the witness box. So that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We never meant to summon the greater demon, which is still unsuccessfully trying to make Scunthorpe worse.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yes, we did end up having sex in public, but in my defense, we thought we were about to die. And sure, we robbed a bank, but that was just a part of a new form of experimental theatre. Is that really such a crime? The prosecutor stood and addressed the jury. Yes, those are all serious crimes. And as for it being innovative theatre, he pulled out a folded review and began to pick out quotes. Trying too hard, uninspired, derivative of James Ancaster, with none of the charm. Thom felt tears begin to swell in his eyes. Oh, well, he thought to himself, that's the Fringe for you. And after all, there's always next year. But not this year, because it's been cancelled. There you go. That was wonderful. I enjoyed that.
Wonderful.
I dig that.
Yeah, I just want to draw attention to...
I've just got a question, guys. Who the fuck's been filming us?
Quenby. That's Quenby. Quenby has been filming you.
God damn you, Quenby.
Yeah,
Andrew,
I just want to draw attention to...
That's very good.
I just want to draw attention to Quenby's comments here, saying writing this was therapeutic and they processed a lot of feelings about the Fringe. So
yeah,
I can tell.
I feel that.
Yeah, this was that was absolutely fantastic. It feels like a genuine no money in the bank show, and by someone who knows comedy, and Thom and Andrew very well. I was torn on this because I didn't want to go for the max straight away, but I can't give this anything less than a 10, so that is a 10.
Fair, very nice.
What are your views?
I loved it. There's everything about it I liked. The horn sets demon shouting freedom is my favorite part of Braveheart, and like you said, it does sound like something we would do. But I don't want to go straight for the cat, so I'm going to give it 9 puppies.
9 puppies from Thom. Okay, Andrew / Balthazar, what are your views?
Actually, can I give it 9.5 for use of exquisite cock?
You can give it 9.5 for use of exquisite cock. Fine.
I will also give it 9. Very good. Like, people who worked in an office liked The Office. People who work in mine and Thom's comedy thing recognized that as me and Thom. So there you go.
Including the kissing?
Including the kissing.
There you go. 9 out of 10.
Fantastic. Okay, Kirstie, you're up.
So I really enjoyed this, but I feel like a lot of the details I want to know have been left out, and I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, on the one hand, it has left me wanting more of this story, which is a sign of a good story.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I don't think I'm going to get it unless I really bully Quenby or do another one of these competitions. Babe, 1, 2, or 3? Okay. So I'm going to give it 9.
That's a 9 from Kirstie. Okay, Bobbie, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to give it a 9.5 because it was a pleasure to read aloud, and I enjoyed the content. Is this coming up like a mirror image or like?
No, it looks gorgeous.
No, it's good.
No.
Looks fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So it's not 5.9 then. That's good.
No, it's not. And Ben, last but not least.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I found it was easy to follow. I just think a little bit of cheeky bum sex in the bank would have just added that.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah.
spice to
That's
it.
the name,
there was a
that's the
lack of
name of
bum
the
sex.
sequel show.
A bit of dusty bum sex would be great.
Yeah.
That is the
So-
sequel show. It's open bracket, cheeky bum sex, close bracket, in the bank.
Gang, may I interrupt just for a second?
I agree.
Thanks to the 20-second delay between our video call and YouTube, I've just seen myself give my score, and you were all laughing enough that it didn't actually show the card, which I feel is probably for the best.
Oh no!
So
If anyone would like to see,
I didn't get to see the card, so I really want to see the card.
Let's see the card. Everyone, shut up.
I want to see the
Oh
card
my
just
God.
for research, you know. That's a good card.
I really liked how intently you
really
looked at the
nice
screen there,
card.
Bobbie.
I
Beautiful.
approve.
I'm putting the card away
Excellent
now.
card.
Right,
Thanks, Lee.
Ben. Sorry, what was your score there?
Oh yeah, 9.
9. Fantastic.
That doesn't look like a 9. That looks like a P.
So that is 56 out of 60. That's going to be a tough score to beat.
That's
Wow.
a very
Yeah,
solid
wow.
score.
But yeah,
That's
we
an
we
A
are
star.
only like less than halfway through, and there's some very graphic ones coming up. So maybe that'll be topped. Who knows? Okay, next one is called.
I don't want the one that we have to recreate on stage to be the one where we're butt naked apart from balaclavas.
I do.
I do. That is partly why I gave it a 10 rather than a 9.5, just because I really want to see it on stage.
And also, I think Quenby might be cheating like Major Charles Ingram. I think there's been lots of coughing in that one throughout the thing.
Right, next one is called.
Filled his pants with dust.
Oh god, that killed me.
It was beautiful to watch Bobbie say that through her own laughter.
It was
Also-
even more beautiful to experience it, let me assure you.
Also, I just want to say, I think so far Bobbie has been the best reader out of all of us,
Whoa,
and
whoa.
I'm very glad that she was the
I
one to
have
read
a
that one out.
degree in reading out, thank you very much. That's the only thing I've achieved with that master's degree. The only thing.
Right, next one. This is called For One Night Only. It is by Magical Rehash 2 or Magical Rehash the Second, not sure, or maybe just Magical Rehash E, because it's 2 I's, Roman numerals. I found it funny. This one is being read by Ben. So whenever you're ready, Ben, take it away. There are no content warnings, so that's bizarre. Let's go.
Right. Cool. So let's begin. So this is it. Andrew spoke. The question mark at the end, like the single pebble of the The single pebble of the gravel road that was his voice. He outstretched his hand and grasped Tom's firmly.
Oh, this is
Look up to
proper
meet his
fanfiction
gaze.
already. This is like doesn't make sense proper fanfiction. I love it.
I think it does make sense. I think I just can't read. Yep. Looks like it's settled. Tom looked back at Andrew and shook, taking in his form like an amateur sculptor admiring the work of a master. Tom was nervous. He didn't know how he could lie his way through this one. He'd replied to the ad that Andrew had posted, looking for another wrestler to perform with him at the Blizzard Courts, the most prestigious and chaotic wrestling event of the year. He had the talent to perform in comedy, but here he was in front of the famous wrestler Andrew, stage name Balthazar Dark, telling him he could wrestle, when in truth, Tom had no clue how to do it. He couldn't help himself. He just had to meet with Andrew. From the first moment he saw Andrew perform, those blank eyes like a void of wonderment, Tom knew that he would never be the same again. However, he was put into a position he couldn't get out of.
Dotty.
We off then. Andrew's words broke Tom out of his uneasiness. To where? He replied, dazed. To the rehearsal? Andrew was uncertain. Tom seemed to be in a world of his own. He pondered what Thom was thinking as they walked along to the venue, watching his lips as he spoke, lost in the way he formed words. The conversation...
Sorry, can I just say there's a lot of watching lips in this? Like,
you've got lovely lips, mate. What can I say?
We just watch each other's lips.
You've got lovely lips. So you clearly use lip balm. That does it for me in the downstairs parts. So.
I think what we can take from this is that everyone needs to move closer to the camera so that our viewers can watch their lips.
Yeah. Where was I? I'm just trying to work out where I'm up to. He pondered what Thom was thinking as they walked along to the venue, watching his lips as he spoke, lost in the way he formed words. The conversation also eclipsed in the thick haze of tension between the two. Thom noticed the deep silence from Andrew, but couldn't stop talking, hoping somehow he'd say just the right thing, longing to make those distant eyes sparkle. Aww. Behind the curtains, they disappeared backstage for the run-through, but upon turning around, Thom noticed Andrew had vanished from sight. As that thought settled in, the organizer told him they had 5 minutes till stage time. Thom rushed back to see if Andrew was outside when he heard a voice behind him. "Where do you think you're going?" Balthazar Dark replied, his steely eyes piercing through Thom. "It's time." And this is, I just want to point out that was written in the SpongeBob meme format, you know, where he's like...
I think you'll find it's the Balthazar Dark tweet format.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm onto it now.
It's exhausting to write.
Just because I tried to Google it before, because like I've not heard of said Balthazar Dark, and it came up with a guy who is the chair of a he's married to someone called Mrs. Balth.
You've officially done more research about a character that Andrew wrote and performs as. That's fantastic. Andrew, we need to change the name.
I'll try and find the profile where that came up. There we go. He took Thom's hand for the second time, somehow firmer than before, sending chills up both their spines. Thom couldn't speak and allowed Balthazar to lead him to the stage. He stepped up, suddenly fearless. Balthazar Dark watched him walk off, admiring the fire he had started within his new partner. The lights were blinding, but that didn't stop him. He started the set, promising the room a night of wrestling they'd never forget. It wasn't until Thom introduced his partner for the evening, Balthazar Dark, that the true worry kicked in. He couldn't wrestle. What was he going to do? Before he could act, Balthazar Dark took the stage. "I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I can't Thom quietly said away from the mic, before wheezing as he was suddenly chopped by Balthazar. "I see your potential. You can," Balthazar replied coldly, but Thom noticed his eyes were shining with hope. Thom realised in this moment that Andrew had known all along. He had nothing to fear. His passion reignited. He looked back at his partner and said, "Chop me again." Balthazar obliged, and Thom, reeling from the pain and the sound, turned to Balthazar and retaliated. The chop echoed across the room. Then he saw Balthazar's face light up, having seemingly taken up the gauntlet. At this point, Balthazar didn't hold back, and neither did Thom. Throwing each other across the room, the wrestling was both graceful and raw, perfectly matching each other's moves, feeling each other in both body and mind. Eventually, they tired, slamming into the floor, their breaths heavy, rhythmic, and their faces mere inches from each other. They laughed and then paused, the atmosphere feeling heavy. Slowly, Balthazar reached for Thom's face and kissed him passionately, the shock hitting him harder than the chops. They embraced until they had to break away, breathless. Balthazar, Thom started. "Say my name and his in the same breath. I dare you to say they taste the same." Balthazar cut him off, and Thom responded by kissing again, the spark between the two fusing into a flash of lightning. Lost in the moment, the two didn't notice as the curtains were softly shut, as the staff left them to their moment. Not that they cared, they had each other to explore in the dim light, a new life partner.
Wow.
What I'm confused about is how did this come after no money left in the bank?
This one just felt so much more intense.
Yeah.
It's also worth saying.
Tension.
Yeah, I was going to say it's also worth saying we did shuffle the order around a bit because
That is true.
Yeah, we wanted to mix up. Basically, we didn't want anyone to narrate 2 in a row. So so some of the ones in the middle may be a bit mismatched. But I think that was really intense. I really enjoyed that one.
Very, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm a little bit hard.
Hearing it out loud, I got so much more
midnight.
intensity than I did the first time I read it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I skimmed it far too quickly because hearing it out loud, I need to take a bit of a breath.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed that in Ben's voice as well. That was it gave me goosebumps. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna give that.
I felt like Ben did it very much more than it deserved. He did a lot of justice with it. Well done, Ben. Well done, Ben.
What, there's just scouse man.
Yeah. I'm going to give that an 8 was the end of that sentence. So, Thom, what do you think?
My favorite thing about that one is the fact that it was quite intense, but also quite sweet. And also, while they have used a pseudonym written by one of our venue staff from Edinburgh. So apparently that is how the lovely people at Sweet Venue see us. I will give it 8 puppies.
8 puppies from Thom. Andrew.
I will give it an 8.5.
Oh, want to be different, do you? Fine. All right. Kirstie?
I really enjoyed this. I liked many things about it, and I'm also giving it an 8.
Hang on, Thom, could you stop laughing? I didn't get to see what that was.
Thom, your cackle fully makes Zoom switch screens, so YouTube goes straight to your face whenever I show one of my cards.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I've done a lot of chatting over this card now.
Yeah. Okay, Bobbie.
Slightly less sexy, 8.
Slightly less sexy, 8.
So come down
like
with
the
me.
card is less sexy, not the story. The story is very good.
I'm a slightly less sexy 8. Ben.
I'll try and make mine slightly more sexy. Ooh. Ooh.
Is that also an 8?
Ooh, yes, it is an 8.
Fabulous.
In my sexiness, you couldn't see what it was.
So that is 48.5 out of 60 altogether. Fantastic.
That's
Right, we're
gonna
score. Yes, Bobbie needs to have a wee. I just want to let you all know.
I desperately need a wee.
As we're halfway through, I think we'll have a quick break for people to top up on drinks and go to the toilet and have a quick fuck after all that. That's heat. So
have 10 minutes of private time and then come back for the more graphic stories.
Yes.
Yeah, have a drink, smash one out.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Obviously we're still going to be here on the live stream, but we're going to have a break before the next story. So just to quickly review the scores. Currently in 4th place, we have No Money in the Wank Bank by TM with 38 points. Then in 3rd place, we have This Is the Origin Story of No Money in the Bank by Clare with 43 points. Then in 2nd place, we have For One Night Only by Magical Rehash II with 48.5 points. And in 1st place, Quenby's Magnificent No Money Will Be Left in the Bank with 56 points.
It's going to be hard to top Quenby.
It's going to be.
That's not a sentence I meant to say out loud.
That's what I've heard.
Quenby, if you'd like to answer that question for us. In the meantime,
Answer it.
In the meantime, go. I'm also going to go for a piss. So chat amongst yourselves, remaining judges. I'll be back shortly, and we'll commence the dirty storytelling in 10 minutes.
I can't find the Balthazar I mentioned, whose wife is called like Mrs. Balthy or something. Suddenly Twitter's wanting to play. Wait, no, he's here. Is
it like a Russian king called Balthazar? Because that would make my day.
No.
Like Balthazar.
No, his Twitter is @Balthy, and it says creator and president of Gamers Dynasty, married to @Mrs. Balthy, XBL and Stadia gamer, tech enthusiast, and he's from Pennsylvania in the USA.
I think you need to fuck him up, Andrew.
Sounds like a good lad to
it
me,
doesn't look difficult. Doesn't look difficult to do. I'm gonna level.
Reckon you can chop the other Balthazar dart into submission.
That's Bruno Mars, surely.
Honestly. Goes, hey guys, it's me.
That's going to be everything I do from now on. Just like, oh, have you seen this person? That's Bruno Mars. Doesn't matter who it is.
He does Twitch streams, so.
We should have got him on.
Shout out to those friends who allow us to be ourselves without question, but a hug and a kiss to those friends who see past our bullshit and make us accept who we are and be who we are. You are the true heroes.
Oh, beautiful.
I want to see his wife.
Oh, Mrs. Balfi. Yeah.
Mrs. Balfi.
That's what she's taught.
Firstly, her account's private. Secondly, that's her photo.
That's Bruno Mars.
No, that's definitely from Tumblr. I'm just putting it out there. This is definitely a Tumblr thing.
Is that Mrs. Balfi?
This is apparently Mrs. Balfi, which I don't think it is. And her...
It's like a stock photo.
She's got 2 followers, and she's from Pakistan, and he's in Pennsylvania, which are more for long distance. But... And her background picture is this.
Oh, be happy with orange pills? Is that
Clearly that's what Mr. Balfi is doing to her.
The little orange pill of marital bliss.
In it. I'm going to look at his photos now. I don't even know who this kid is, but I might have to follow him after this.
While you're doing that, we have now surpassed 50% of our fundraising goal for Mustard Tree.
Oh.
Thank you to Joe, who is our most recent non-anonymous donor. Thank you. We love you. And so do all of the vulnerable people in Manchester who are going to benefit from your very generous donation.
Can we give people an incentive to get to the 100%? I don't know what.
I will flash.
You're helping
chest.
charity. That's
I know, but that's not what
deed.
people. No, but that's not how people work, and you know it.
I will flash my expensive nipples.
Nice.
I would like to see Ben's expensive nipples. Please, let's reach 100% before the end of the the stream.
I was just going to say I'll shave my beard. That's your expensive nipples.
No, don't do that. I know. I don't agree. No.
No, like with my if you took the money that my expensive nipples cost, you could probably go to Disneyland 10 times over.
You won't have such great nipples though.
No, but they were really hurting before we started this live stream. I was like massaging it, and I was like, if we start, and I'm just here like, hey everyone.
It's the perfect lead-in.
You would have matched all the people at home who are really enjoying these horny stories.
Tell me more about the bank.
Exquisite cock, you say.
If we get to 68%, I will sing Dr. Evil's rap from Austin Powers 2. Okay?
Oh,
so
that's just like 16% more to make that happen.
So make that happen, people.
Hang on, I'm just googling how much that is. So okay, so that's like 40 quid. 40 quid. If we get 40 more quid, Andrew's gonna rap for us.
I'll shave my beard for 100. I'm standing by this.
If we get 120 more quid, Tom's gonna shave his beard, which makes me want you to not give us money because that's a bad thing.
This is my way of doing a moral quandary. How much do you love the homeless, Kirstie?
No, not enough to sacrifice. I will sacrifice all the homeless for the sake of one beard.
This sounds like a very.
That is not going with our ethos, Kirstie.
I know. I'm like, I hate
this
myself.
Sounds like something the MPs
Mustard Tree are watching. They're going to put that in the video.
This sounds
I mean, this is going out live. There's no getting rid of what I just said. Like,
it
Jonny...
sounds very political, but a beard being an MP's wife.
To be honest, I'm sure by the time I actually see Tom, it will have grown back. So I don't care that much.
I'm gonna keep shaving it.
I just don't want to see any photos of you without it.
I look like a young Rip male. No, I don't look like a young
just
Rip Moranis. Rip Moranis.
I've seen photos of you without it. You look a solid like 10 years younger and like not in a good way. Like I realised that came out sounding proper cunty. But
last time I shaved my beard, I got ID'd for an energy drink. I'm 30 years old.
Wow.
Quenby, in response to your comment that you have suggestions for what we could do if we reached 100% but Zoom wouldn't like them, we don't have to do it on Zoom, babe. Okay? We've got other channels, and if we don't, we can always just make new ones.
Oh
what do you
my
want?
god!
Tell us what you want.
The Blizzard OnlyFans account.
Yes.
You've heard of Patreon for subscription and for exclusive content, but have you heard?
We'll release lineups and Ben's expensive nipples every week.
We've got patronize. It's like someone offers themselves up, and we'll slowly patronize them instead. Yeah. It's like, should you really be wearing that coat with those trousers? We'll just slowly patronize people. On the
Oh, Quenby wants us on OnlyFans. Which reasonable.
Right now.
Right now.
Would Blizzard be the first comedy night to have its OnlyFans?
That'd be cool though. That's a hook, innit?
It's just, it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of effort. It seems like a lot. Like OnlyFans people like put so much into the marketing. It's kind of intimidating.
Also, it's not a great platform. I have a friend who said that, like, so OnlyFans take. I'm gonna say I have a friend. I genuinely do. I've not looked into this. Not long enough anyway, because I realised my tattoos are too distinctive. But she told me.
That one right on your shoulder that says, "Hey, it's me, Ben Hodge."
Or I mean, there's literally a skull on my leg that says "Ugly Boy," and someone's gonna look at that and be like, "Ben." So
3 people in the world have the same tattoo as me, right? One of them's Jonny and one of them's Scarlett, and Scarlett keeps posting photos of hers, and I'm like, hang on, I didn't post this.
You went to him just like, that's not my ass.
Literally, I'm like, hang on, when did I post this? Oh wait, that's Scarlett. I've done that like 4 separate times.
Can I just say, Oliver Willis has said he'd be happy to pay for the Blizzard OnlyFans.
It would just be him.
It would just be.
It's just we could
Quenby.
just text him nudes, to be honest.
We'll just do that.
I'll just.
Ollie, you know the PO box.
Ollie's been to my house. Ollie's been to my birthday parties. Ollie's seen it all anyway, man.
On a slightly less exciting note, but I'm proud of it. I just want to show off my nails, not because they're good, but because I left getting ready really late. So I set up my entire sound system while my nails were drying, and I'm quite impressed with how little they fucked up. So
see,
I'm very proud of you, Jonny.
Yeah,
I do my nails, sit here doing jack shit, and like it ends up on my skull. Like I don't know, that's some next level game.
Ollie has commented, I've seen them many times, following Jasmine telling him that he has missed my sexy deck of cards, and like, yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Quenby said, I love how you all have gotten progressively more culty over time, and I definitely read that as cunty at first.
So did I. I was like, I didn't think we were being
Jasmine.
cunty. I thought it was just me, and people were used to that.
Kirstie's parties are pretty sexual.
How is everyone enjoying the weird narcissistic experiment then? Everyone liking the smut? Oh.
Yes.
Scarlett says she would both pay for and be on a Blizzard OnlyFans.
Just pay for your own nudes. That'd be defeats the purpose.
You're just paying OnlyFans a commission to look at your own nudes.
We could do a Blizzard calendar, but every month is December.
I feel like a Blizzard calendar was floated shortly before Christmas.
Yeah.
But we didn't go through with it because
it's expensive.
we were less than a year. We needed more than like one patron that had paid for one, and we also hadn't
Shout
taken
out
any
to Richard
specific
Moore.
photos.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Richard
shout out
Moore.
Richard, love you, man.
My favorite patron gift you got, Richard, was still the bag of custom love hearts. That is, although the Jonny body pillow as well.
That was fun. I've got like a long list of things I really want to get, but a lot of them like you have to buy in bulk. And we only have one person that's on Richard's tier of Patreon, so please support us on Patreon. And you can have some shit with Jonny's face on it.
Yeah.
When we first started Blizzard, before we'd even done our first show, I remember talking to Jonny and being like, right, just so you know, we're setting up a Patreon, and until we have enough people to buy stuff in bulk, I'm just gonna like buy random shit from charity shops and stamp your face on it. And I found a ceramic horse head in a charity shop that had William and Kate on it to commemorate the royal wedding. And I sent a photo of it to Jonny, like, as soon as I find out where I can get one of these, we're stamping one of these to your face. No, Scarlett, we did give Richard a calendar, but it wasn't a flip calendar with like 12 photos. It was just one with one picture of Jonny.
Which is all you need.
Wait, for like every month or like an advent calendar?
It was like one of those like big sheets that have all of the months on it on one page and one picture in the middle, which meant we could personalize it. So it said like, thank you for supporting us, Richard, rather than being in bulk and not being personalized. So I think it's quite nice.
Yeah.
That like, as long as he's in a tier on his own, we can continue to be a bit more personal with it.
A really sad thing about that though is we did actually circle all of the Blizzard comedy shows on it, and I've just realized most of them are now going to be cancelled.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That is really sad.
I mean, today's one is still relevant.
Yeah, today's one is still relevant. I'm not even entirely sure if he's here or not.
We should just do a live stream for every Blizzard show that should have been.
It would just be us sitting there talking shit.
Yeah, it's fine. People are still watching, I assume. I can't see the numbers.
But we have 21 watching,
watching.
Which reminds me, it's actually been 13 minutes since I said 10 minutes, so we should probably carry on with the smart.
Yeah. Okay, should we carry on?
Let's do it.
Is
cool.
This me?
Yes, this is Spaceballs 2 Electric Boogaloo. By Thom Osborne. I'll let you introduce this, Kirstie.
This story had a number of working titles, and I've forgotten them all, but they're all very funny. And it begins with an author's note. And I feel like it is pertinent to tell you that I was there when this story was conceived, because I was in the pub with Thom after watching Harriet Dyer and talking to him about this competition. And I did inform him that Thom B, not Thom the writer, Thom the judge, has said that if someone gave him a massive penis, Thom would give them bonus points.
That's just good use of imagination.
When Jonny found this out, Jonny said if someone gave Thom a giant penis, they would deduct points. So this is Thom the writer's attempt to grab at both of those bonus points. And it's also the only entry that comes with pictures.
Oh yes.
So I will attempt to share those as I read it, but I'm not sure how well that's going to go. We're just going to have to wait and see. So this is Spaceballs 2 Electric Boogaloo.
There's some content warnings for this.
There are. Can you remind me of what they are?
There is Intergalactic War and the most graphic one so far, which is true of the next few.
Yeah, from now on, they do get increasingly graphic.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Are any of these going to get so graphic that I have to leave the room?
Oh, the one we're reading, mate.
To leave the room.
Like I'm getting quite like when you like upset some bubbles up inside you. Is that going to happen to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Short answer, yes.
The one we're reading, very much so.
I'm going to stick it out. Come on then, let's get on with it.
Proud of you, Andrew.
Okay.
Thom B threw an arm around his giant dick at roughly shoulder height.
Enough, Finn. That's all we need.
Right, 1 hour.
So it's about here.
You good? You good? Together, they stood and watched explosions blossom across the hull of the starship SS Necrodeath. They breathed a pair of weary sighs. Thom's came from his mouth. His giant dicks came from its dick hole, but was no less expressive of intense relief and satisfaction.
That's how I'd describe
the war
mine
had been long.
Have they frozen for anyone else?
I don't know.
Oh no, hopefully this isn't. We were having this problem when we were rehearsing. Hopefully she's not gone forever.
I want to know. He's breathing from his dick hole.
Oh no, yeah. Kirstie and Bobbie have both gone down, which indicates probably a virgin issue. As that was happening earlier.
Oh man, it's a massive cliffhanger.
Oh no. Does someone want to take over that story?
I have no way of getting it in front of me.
I can. Which one was it? Spaceballs 2.
Spaceballs 2, Electric Boogaloo, yeah.
Yeah, if you give me a sec, I can get it. Wait, when's my next one as well?
Oh god, apparently I'm the host now. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know if this... Oh, actually, I don't know if this is going to interrupt the stream, because it is...
It still says
it's still live.
Right, okay, yeah. If this suddenly stops streaming, I apologize. If that's the case, we'll just pick this up maybe tomorrow. But yeah, we'll try and carry on for now.
Shall I read it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Kirstie said internet's gone again. She's going to get it to restart and then jump back on ASAP. Tell you what, shall we skip to the next one and then come back to this? We'll see if Kirstie comes back.
Yeah,
we'll do that because I think Kirstie really wanted to read that one. So the next one is the Animals Reveal.
The next one's Bobbie.
So it's the Animals Reveal. It is by the Asian Persuasion. I wonder who that is. And Bobbie's reading this one. Bobbie. Oh yeah, good point. Bobbie's not here. Right, Ben. The next one is the Grappling by Samuel Benson.
Oh god, we're at the point where they get vile.
Yeah, content warning for that is poo. So you have been warned. Take it away if you're ready.
Cool. Oh, also, sorry, just really quick before I begin, I got a message from my boyfriend to say he's watching, which I think is really sweet. So it's Joe. So hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
So I've read the first line. Oh. Right, okay. The Grappling. Thom sat on a cold wooden bench in the changing room, looking at his pea-sized knob.
At his what?
At his pea-sized knob. He was building up the motivation to put on his skin-tight lycra wrestling gear, and if he put it on too quickly, the elastic might snap back, grace the tip of his nutsack, and have him dry heaving for the next few hours.
It's pretty accurate so far, to be fair.
Thom liked wrestling. In fact, he loved wrestling. Unlucky for him, he was as thick as fermented pig shit. And Thom saw wrestling training in big bold letters in the corner of some sketchy website. He thought nothing more than to sign up for it. I mean, he liked wrestling, and that was wrestling. The logic clearly checks out.
Sorry, who wrote this one?
Samuel Benson.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. It had taken him 6 months of takedowns and waist locks to click that maybe he'd misread the fine print somewhere, and another 6 months to confirm that yes, he'd sign up to an amateur wrestling training program. Not the kind of wrestling that has people chanting your name throughout arenas as you fly through the air and smash some poor bastard's brains in with your elbow. The type of wrestling that nobody actually watches, kind of like men's volleyball or West Ham. Still, it was something to do. Sorry, I've just noticed this has page numbers, like it says page 2 at the bottom, like a proper novel. Anyway, still, it was something to do now. Plus, he'd set up a direct deposit to pay for his wrestling training. It'd be more uncomfortable to ring up his bank and cancel it, and then ring up the wrestling school and cancel that, than it would be to stick it out and put on his shiny blue gear in a freezing cold gym hall. There was one little light that made this somewhat bearable. Well, actually 2. First of all, he'd signed up at the exact same time as his good friend Andy, so at least he wasn't a lonely bastard getting his taint fondled by a random stranger. The second was...
Prefer doing that alone, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. The second was, well, they were both actually surprisingly good at it. They easily went from being the best newcomers to the best of the class, to the best of the actual district. Hell, They might actually be good enough to enter the national championships and maybe one day even compete in the Olympics. Talk about falling upwards. They were the envy of every single one of their classmates. So now, here they were, on a miserable Tuesday night in a poorly lit sports centre, about to start thrashing it out like two sodomites at a glory hole.
Whoa,
That's my fate.
Just poetic metaphor out the window, just like two sodomites at a glory hole,
They were being gays like two gays.
They started thrashing it out like homosexuals. Anyway, Andy was sat at the other side of the locker room, all kitted out in his white spandex, which had been stained by his pre-game curry.
What?
He was scrolling.
Oh, fuck off! That's realistic, and you know it.
That's suggesting I shit myself.
I think it's literally curry. He was scrolling through his phone, sporting a barely visible semi. Not many things could give him this sort of sexual excitement these days, at least not since the incident. So it had to be some pretty heavy stuff. After Andy nipped to the toilets for a few seconds, they got oiled up and were ready to train. This was time to hulk up and be a man. Thom squeezed Andy's waist and instantly brought him to the ground. All of a sudden, the rumbling sound of a drain being emptied gurgled through the room as Andy's stomach started to reject the curry from before. Something was wrong. Was it the meat? Was it the spices? Did his pre-match wank screw up the semen propulsion and backtrack backwards through his penis back into his ballsack? Whatever it was, it sounded worse than a guy playing the bagpipes being yeeted down a flight of stairs. They both casually ignored it. It's not like either of them were masters of bodily functions. Hell, Thom had only recently worked out how to put his dick back into his boxers after a piss. After a piss, without the dick tuck releasing a second wind of piss. It's times like this where I'm so glad I'm not cis. After some back and forward, Andy was thrown to the ground once again, and yet again the gurgling sound echoed throughout the sports centre. The rancid meat had finished swirling around in his stomach and had begun to seep down into his intestines. This spooked Thom a little, leaving him open for an easy tossing to the floor. Thom flopped to the ground and was quickly mounted. Andy had him dead to rights. All he had to do was lock on a submission and he'd have beaten fair and square. But even gently twisting around unlocked the guys out of rectal gas and he let off the most disgusting fart of his life. Picture driving past an overturned meat truck that has been sitting in the sun for a few hours and you might come close to the smell. The fart spooked even Andy himself, and Thom managed to wriggle underneath his opponent to avoid the submission. Meanwhile, a little bubble had started to form in Andy's trunks. Oh no, there was more than just gas that had escaped through his anus, and it was only the tight spandex holding the little puddle of liquid in place, like a pus-filled spot.
Who has wrote this? This is filthy.
Is this the person who spoke to The Guardian?
I don't remember. Yeah,
I hope not.
That.
This is disgusting.
Unfortunately for Thom, he instinctively poured at Andy's now bulging arse to push him away, only for a single fingernail to catch the skin-tight outfit and tear the fabric slightly. Oh fuck. Oh god. All of a sudden, the heavens broke and Thom watched his worst nightmare come true in super slow motion. The bubble contained about as much shit as your average condiment packet.
Well.
But Thom's frantic yells...
Oh, there's more good!
But Thom's frantic yells as it tripped directly into his eye managed to spook Andy some more. Spooking it made him fart harder and propel another round of gas and shit, which made Thom scream harder and spook Andy more. It was it was a perpetual motion machine of shit. Just more and more toilet batter was being ejected from the tight hole of Andy's arse in increasing blasts. Oh, from a minor drop to a ketchup squirt to a spilled pint to a full-on shotgun blast of pressure of gas and shit. Eventually, they both lay there in a pool of sweat and arse gravy whilst gasping for breath, wriggling around like oversized slugs with facial hair. Every time one of them came close to making it to their feet, the other would knock them slightly, and they'd both tumble straight back down into the shit soup. Finally, they both made it to their feet, took one last look at their disgusting soiled clothing, and ran to the showers in shame, dripping watery shit from their hands and face with every swing. The wrestling trainer cleared his throat and looked over to the rest of his pupils, with their faces ranging from embarrassment to abstract terror. Okay, lads, let's have the next pair.
Is that the end?
Yeah, that's it. That's the end.
Well, okay. Right, first of all, yeah, yeah, I am kind of speechless.
That's not even the most disgusting one.
Yeah. There's one that's worse than this. That was vile, but it was well written. I'm tempted to deduct points because they were quite generous to Thom, but in penis size, not necessarily events that happened.
It said it was pea-sized.
Did it? Oh, well,